Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 134, where a podcast talks about pop culture things that interest us, and sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John, and I'm joined, as always, by Andrea. How's it going?
Good, good. Doing well on this Thursday, almost end of the week. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. Hanging in there, keeping moving along, finding some extra time for a few more entertainment things finally. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
it's been good.
cruising. You're all over the place. I dig it. You've got old, new games,
Yeah.
movies, shows. You're just yeah.
It's all, like, cut up into bite-sized pieces. It's, like, a little this and a little of that, at various times,
Yes,
but,
you've got like
yeah.
a sampler over here.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Charcuterie of,
Yes.
amazing, amazing entertainment, for sure.
Yes.
Alright, so today's episode was gonna be a shorter one. We're gonna talk about video games, particularly Nintendo, later in the episode. Before that, just a couple new releases to talk about and our weeks, what we've been up to. And, to kick it all off, we should talk drinks.
Yes, yes, we are now in the second month of 2023. Not much going on so far in this short month, but it is National Stout Month. If you are into the stouts, I've never been a huge fan, but
Mm.
I know there's people out there. I think didn't Ashley go through kind of a stout phase for a while?
Yeah. Yeah, and I did too. Kind of she was into them, and I feel like that kind of drug me into it as well at a
Yeah,
point.
you're along for the
And
ride.
yeah, I really do appreciate a good stout,
Mhm.
but so often I'm having beer with a meal and the stout's kind of a large part of the meal. So
Yep.
if it's one of those things like you're going to I forgot the name of a place. It's a good place that has great fries in like St. Paul or whatever, and you're just getting fries and a beer, fine,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Pretzel and a beer, but if you're gonna have yourself a burger or you're eating pizza, a stout is not generally refreshing and it's heavy and yeah. So
Yeah, it's like doubling your meal.
yeah, it's just finding the right situation for it. So
Yep. Well, if you're so inclined, this is the month to celebrate or to try it out if you haven't before. Just,
yeah.
watch your food intake. And then on the first Saturday of the month, February 4th, it was International Pisco Sour Day, which
Nice.
is a specific type of alcohol. I believe it's a derivation of brandy. And it
Mm,
is the national drink of Peru and Chile.
nice.
A little bit of
Nice.
trivia for you.
Yeah.
It looks
My aunt
cool.
never
It looks like a fun drink that I will someday try to enjoy when I'm not
sure.
pregnant.
Yeah. My aunt lived in Peru, for quite a while, and,
Really? I didn't
she,
know that.
never yeah, she never, I don't know, brought me made me a pisco sour, I guess. What the heck?
Oh, yeah. You have to confront her, be like, what's up with that?"
Yeah. Mhm, mhm. Yeah, it was crazy. They lived in Peru, and they lived in this, like, what used to be an old drug cartel boss's mansion. So it had, like, a big
Kinda
courtyard, and they
cool.
had armed guards and the whole, like, deal. So,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. They didn't
How
wanna leave their house a lot, but, yeah, their
how
house
did
was
that,
nice
like,
anyways.
fall out? Like, how did they get to
Copper
this place?
mining,
Like okay,
copper
okay.
mining. They don't like to let
Interesting.
people mine in the States, so, like, they're, like, kind of forced in different places, and so Peru
Sure.
was copper mining for quite a bit. So,
Interesting. Man,
yeah.
people
Mhm.
just have interesting stories. I love hearing stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not, of course you aren't, but I'm not celebrating either of these days as, either. Um, and but I do have a drink. It's
Okay.
in honor of something else going on. If you can see my
Tell us.
tie, it might
Yes.
give you a hint, maybe. The it's blue and silver stripes. Sometimes
Yes,
it should be blue and
yes,
golden stripes. Yeah. So my
yes.
house of choice, Ravenclaw. I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy. I have a homemade sort of butterbeer esque drink.
Fun.
So it's just a mix real quickly of things. I know there's a million different. Okay, I won't exaggerate that much.
Recipes.
There are a there are seemingly dozens of
Yeah.
recipes for butterbeer. So I'm just like, it needs butterscotch in there for some reason, or of some type, whether it's chips or butterscotch schnapps. So yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different, like yours is kind of the more traditional milkier version, but I've seen recently a lot of people make like frozen versions, like slushy kind of
Mm,
things. So I feel like there's a million different ways you can like interpret how to make a butterbeer. Um,
yeah.
so yeah,
I
just I mean it
prefer
looks fun.
I prefer the foamy kind of type of thing, sometimes
Mhm.
even warm or whatever,
Mhm.
like a hot buttered rum sort of thing.
Yeah.
The At Universal Studios in the Wizarding World, they have their butterbeer that I had. They like sell in just a bottle, and it's cold and thin, more like a juice. Um,
Sure.
I think. Wait, no, actually, never mind. I'm thinking of their pumpkin juice.
Pumpkin juice,
That was
sure.
pumpkin juice. Yeah. I don't remember what the butterbeer was like there, actually, now that I think of it. I just crossed the 2 in my mind, so I'll have to look back at pictures.
Okay.
So, but anyways, this is good. I added a little bit of, peanut butter whiskey as well, just for a little more, just I don't know,
Little
goes
extra
along
kick.
with that. Yeah, mhm. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like you're in the
So,
same flavor profile, so it works.
yeah. So that's what I'm drinking. Yeah, I said I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy, but we'll get to me in a second. How's your week been? What have you been up to?
I have not been up to, your bits and bytes of different pop culture. I have just been super busy, so the only thing I've been able to sit down and watch, which I now feel is precipitous, is Ghosts.
Okay, yep, mhm.
Because yep, I've just been continuing on that. I've watched like 4 more episodes. I think I'm all caught up to where they are live time now. Um, it is precipitous because it's really gonna balance out what I'm gonna start watching tonight, which is
Okay,
You, the new season of You on Netflix.
okay.
Whereas Ghost is lighthearted and comedic and like, adorable ensemble cast of lovable ragtag group of misfits. You is definitely like let's get ready for murder, mind games, manic obsession, like darkness. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, so I'm really gonna flip the coin and just dive into that world tonight, and I'm excited
But
about it.
it's a fictional thing? Is it based on a book or
Yeah,
anything, or
it's fiction. I don't know if it's based on a book actually, or based on any sort of other media. Um, but probably the thing that it's just best known for is Penn Badgley stars in it. Um, so he just plays like the main character, Joe Goldberg, who can't help but when he meets a girl, just like manically obsess over her.
Hmm,
And his love always goes to some very dark places from his very good, or at least seemingly very good intentions.
okay.
Um, so yeah, so it's just excellent show. If you haven't
Interesting.
been watching it, do it because it's amazing. This is part 1 of season 4, which is just dropped, and then part 2 is going to drop in about a month.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's
It's,
absolutely excellent. Far cry from his Gossip Girl days.
okay. Okay. Nice. Alright, well, that sounds fun. Yeah, like you said, I kind of have real variety of things. I mentioned Hogwarts Legacy up top. I have to talk about that a little bit anyways, because
Yes.
it really is it was supposed to come out last year, got pushed back. It's okay. We have kids now, less time to play it, whatever. I'm not mad about it. But it's it's been really good. Like, a lot of times throughout the years, I've just asked, why can't we have a competent game in X universe, whatever it is, and whatever thing? Why can't we really feel like we're there? And it's so often for years, it was they would just give it to some team and they know it would sell because it's based on an IP and it just wasn't all that fleshed out or whatever. Well, when they first showed this game, I was a little surprised by the scope, and thus far playing it, it's living up to the expectations, I guess.
That's awesome.
It looks nice, it controls well. You really do, like, just run around Hogwarts School and the school grounds and Hogsmeade, and, like, it's there, and it feels fleshed out. You can go and look at the statues, the little bits of lore all over the place. This takes place much earlier, so there's a few names you recognize, but mostly
Mhm.
not. So they start you off with a story that's pretty, like, really throws you in there. It's epic. They make your character more special or whatever. It's not just so like, you know, like they're giving you a, I don't know, like Harry Potter's the chosen one or whatever.
Right.
Clearly special for some reason.
Mhm.
It controls well. Um, it's got the music. It's got the look. I don't know. If I had all the time in the world, Ashley and I both said we'd be like on that 6 hours a day, both of us. Just it's been kind of a dream come true in terms of getting to live out that Hogwarts sort of thing. You get to make your own
That's
character.
awesome.
You get to import your stuff from Pottermore or the Wizarding World's website. So if you've taken the
Yeah.
sorting test there,
I
it gives you
have,
your
yeah.
wand and all that stuff. So it'll bring your house and your wand type and all that into the game. Um, so I don't know. It's just
That's
pretty
fun.
great. Yeah. So I got the butterbeer. I've got the Ravenclaw tie because I am a Ravenclaw, of course. And
Yes, you're looking
yeah,
very scholarly, academic, as a Ravenclaw should.
yeah. I better put on my spectacles.
Yes,
There we go.
yes.
Hmm.
Really
Hmm.
completing the Professor John look over here.
Yeah, it's my quill and ink. Um,
Bring him
Alan
some
Alan, bring
parchment
this.
for God's sake.
I know. Yeah, Accio parchment. Um, Alan brings up a good point. Been talking about our friend Melissa's Twitch channel recently on the podcast, just letting people know they should follow her, MJ Honeybee. She's been playing the new Hogwarts Legacy game now as well. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
I can't watch her now for spoilers. Normally, she's playing Dead by Daylight, so there's lots of that content from her as well, if you're interested. But yeah, be sure to check out MJ Honeybee's channel on Twitch and follow her on YouTube too. She does clips. So
Mhm.
if you're maybe you don't have Hogwarts Legacy and you want to watch someone play it, that's a good place to turn. So I will keep you updated on this game as I go forward.
Awesome.
See if it lets me down anywhere or whatnot. But yeah, so far, really cool. Really, really cool.
So far, dreams
Um,
do come true.
I know. I know. They do. Other gaming things. Hi-Fi Rush dropped on Game Pass. It's a
Mhm.
kind of a surprise game during the Xbox event the other week. It showed up, and it's made by the studio Tango Gameworks that made Evil Within games. So this is a very,
Mhm.
very different sort of game. A little more anime-ish vibe. When I first saw it, I thought like Jet Set Radio Future type of thing. It's a kind of rhythm-based game. I haven't got to play too much of it, but I did a couple boss battles and stuff in there. It's gorgeous. It controls well, and it really reminds me of a Days Gone of like a yesteryear of gaming, sort of a late 90s, early 2000s sort of, I don't know, like Glover, Spyro,
Sure.
like just a action kind of game that it's pretty linear. You don't have to figure out where to go. You collect a lot of things, a lot of Ratchet and Clank sort of elements. There's some platforming things, and it's just really fun. It's just super fun, lighthearted. So it's a good game to jump in and drop out. So it's worked well for me to do those little bite-size game sessions with. So Hi-Fi
Nice.
Rush, also fun. And the last thing I want to mention is the Mission Impossible movies. I've started going through the Mission Impossible movies. I feel bad because I knew we were going to talk about Last of Us, but it's like watching these new things and the heavy stuff, as I mentioned, has like been difficult to make myself
Yeah.
do. So I've been like doing familiar for the most part on television.
Mhm.
Going back to some things I've seen before, haven't seen in a while that I feel are like generally more lighthearted or something. And so I've started over Mission Impossible and made it through the first two. Um, yeah, I don't
Just
remember what triggered this exactly. Maybe our Tom Cruise discussion the
I
other
was
week.
I was gonna say, you're just, like, really starting early for the new Mission Impossible.
Yeah, right. hmm I'm gonna take a little breather before I go down to three. I think, you know,
Sure.
spend a little time with you know, with the Harry Potter game if I can and stuff like that. And I'll space
Mhm.
it out. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. You've seen all of them, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to talk sometime about like our favorites and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a good franchise to cover.
Yeah. Um. Oh, yeah. I was also being you brought up a Netflix thing. I wanted to say
Yeah, I
my
was gonna
Netflix thing
ask
I'm
you about
watching.
this.
This show is so good. Friend of the show, Mike, has been on here. He recommended this to me. It's called Physical Bet. It's Physical 100. It's a Korean competition show that's
Mhm.
just like they found military, ex-military, firefighters, bodybuilders, models, dancers, people in all sorts of categories that are the peak physical fitness in
Mhm.
their respective kind of area, and they bring them in what they kind of clearly vibe off of a Squid Game kind of
Yeah, I was
competition,
gonna say, just getting the sneak
and
peek here.
yeah. And so everybody's on there, they're so nice, they're all, like, complimenting each other's physiques and like, "Oh my god, you're so jacked, you know, you had, like, such a good
Mhm.
body," and all this stuff, and, like but then they just have to go through these series of competitions where they get eliminated and they can win a bunch of money at the end, and,
Mhm.
it's just all it's really good. It's a lot of fun because this show is it's not about the drama, it's not
Mhm.
about people trying to hook up with one another or something like that
Mhm.
whilst doing a competition show. It's just a competition show. And everybody here is so nice so far and like cooperating, and the challenges they set forth for them are really
Mhm.
good. And then like there's men and women competing in the same thing. So they're just like very realistic about all that stuff. And it's interesting to
Sure.
see who does well where. And it's a good time. I've been having a lot of fun with this competition show, Physical 100 on Netflix. So
I first 2 things to say about this. First of all, I totally definitely wanna watch this. This looks awesome. Second of all, the way you described it at the end there sort of reminded me of it's like a physical challenge version of the Great British Baking Show, because,
Mm,
like, nobody on Great British Baking Show is, like, trying to hook up with each other. There's, like, a spirit of cooperation even though they're competing
yeah,
against each other. It's literally just about, like, the product and the spirit of competition, which it
yeah,
sounds like this is too, where you're not, like, having faux, like, interpersonal drama or, people are trying to hook up or whatever, like you said.
yeah,
So in a weird way, it reminded me of that and reminded me how much, like, I appreciate that when it's just sometimes, like, I don't need added things. I don't need artifice. I don't need, you know,
yeah.
extra drama. I just wanna watch these people, like, compete against each other, and that's interesting enough.
Mhm. I think there's a little bit of a cultural element to it as well. Like they're not like of course they all want to be the
Well, yeah.
best. They want to be the best, but at the same time they're all like impressed and give great like admiration for others, such a respect
Yeah.
for others. Like you've achieved this. Look what you're able to do. Like, a lot of them are known in public figures in a way or whatever, and they just like some of the competitions I've seen where they kind of like, hey, let's forget about these rules exactly, and I want to do this because like man to
Mhm.
man, let's see who's better, or like someone can take the easy route out and they choose instead to choose a like strong competitor, just to
Mhm.
test themselves. And so it's
Yeah.
just been a really inspirational show. I like stand
Mhm.
there when the one watching this and like do like curls and stuff because it's just like it's an inspirational show for sure. It's a lot of fun. So if you start
That's
it, let me
awesome.
know what you think.
I
So,
definitely will.
all right. That's been our weeks. We really just have one big thing to talk about.
Mhm.
It went down yesterday, a Wednesday. So it's a perfect time to talk about while it's still fresh in everyone's minds, the Nintendo
Absolutely.
Direct. There was one rumored for February, but people were like, I don't know, are they not gonna? And then like the day before, or maybe 2 days, they announced they were gonna have a direct, 40-minute direct on games mostly coming out in the first half of 2023.
Mhm.
So yeah, you get to watch this direct.
Yes, I did. I did. And I love I've been loving every like direct that Nintendo's been doing in just the terms of like they keep it short, snappy, moving. There's not too much like extra time doing things. They're showing a lot of gameplay for games. They know when to dwell on a game. They know when to like, you know, kind of do like a multi like, hey, here's a bunch of games under the same umbrella. Like let's just show a bunch of clips from each. Um, you know, like we have like a host, quote unquote, walking us through everything, but he's not like really what it's about. But he also um I thought of this at the end when he was basically like, oh hey everyone, thanks for sticking with us, like here's our last segment. I was like, this is what like a host should do, is just here's like interesting things. I'm gonna be here for like a second. Now I'm gonna tell you when the last thing is. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye. Like, just, I don't know
Yeah.
why this was like so difficult a couple of years ago for like the many releases and sneak previews that we watched, but like, take notes, guys. This is it.
Yeah. Nintendo has a good formula. And like
Yeah.
Xbox's event the other week was clearly taking notes, I think, from
Hmm.
this for sure. I
Yeah.
think they're listening, you know. So um it's got to be easier to do as well than some of these other
Right.
productions they try to do.
Right.
Um yeah.
Like, we don't need frills. We don't need fancy things. We just want you to like show us what's going on. Tell us when
Mhm. Mhm.
we can access it and then get out of here.
Mhm. So as far as what they actually announced, give me your overall impression, and then maybe we can dive into some of the things that really stood out to you.
Yeah, so I kind of noticed a couple of different like themes going on. I mean, of course, we have a lot of like classics that are I'm loving like the focus on classics being like remastered or reoffered in different formats, be it, like we're remastering this game, or, we're releasing like old Game Boy or Game Boy Advance games now on our online service. Like this is the way to like grab people and do that kind of stuff, like nod to your classics. You've got new things, new spin-offs of classics, so you know what people want, what they like. Give it to them in more formats. Good job on that. um but that doesn't mean you're not developing new content, new interesting content. And then also one other thing that I really noticed is a lot of these games, I sort of noticed it early on and then really got it later. Narrative games, man, those are
Mm,
making like huge, huge splash in this. I feel like at least half of the games that were announced here were narrative based.
mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
um just felt like that was a trend that I was noticing here.
I think you're right. I follow a few people that really have issue with this. And though I like a lot of their content, I do disagree on this because I think we're getting some of these narrative games because we're maybe actually getting some different people involved
Hmm.
in the gaming space. And
Hmm.
like other games I don't think are going away. There's always that
Right.
fear in the gaming industry, like, oh, it's going to be all this kind of game and all that kind of game, and we have trends, but usually we still get something of everything. And so I just think of our friend Tara that hadn't played video games for a long time. I brought her up on the show before, and like she picked up a Switch, and now she plays quite a bit on there. It seems like
Right.
that's great. I'm excited that someone else has gotten back into gaming after years and years and years of not doing it, or maybe just a couple of things on their phone. So, yeah, it's just a greater variety of games. The Switch is a perfect platform for these
Hmm.
things.
Yeah.
A little bigger screen, some controls, so it's a little more comfortable. Yet, you can bring it with you to be able to, yeah, read through the narrative elements and stuff. Um, yeah, I think it's good. It's cool.
Yeah, what did you
Um,
think? What are your
I
overall impressions? I mean, I can tell some games that you're very excited about, obviously.
yeah.
There's notes with
Um,
exclamation points and there's notes without them, so
well, even the notes I took, I still kind of only put things I was interested in. There's still a lot I
Right.
left out. It was a pretty packed show.
Yeah.
I have to say, there's Nintendo has like they always have so much in the chamber. There's always so
Mhm.
much potential. There's like stored energy waiting to become kinetic energy with Nintendo. And so often it doesn't become kinetic energy. And so it's always this anticipation that's always kind of half, and eventually we always get it, but it's just this slow burn.
Mhm.
And this direct, they really like dropped the hammer, I think. They
Mhm.
really laid some of it out there. I thought it was pretty impressive. We'd seen a number of these things, and these were new looks, but the day and day releases, particularly of Game
Yeah.
Boy and Game Boy Advance then games.
Mhm.
I mean, I played a little bit of just original Tetris on my Switch. That's what I
Oh,
wanted.
gee,
Just
I'm so excited.
original Tetris. Yes.
Yes.
No frills, no other modes, just Tetris.
Yep.
Um, so that's very satisfying. I'm looking forward to the Game Boy Advance Zelda games to come to the
Mhm.
system, to the service. When once Nintendo's done putting everything on this service, if they maintain it over every console generation, it is going to be an incredibly
It's gonna be
valuable,
amazing.
awesome service
Mhm.
that's maintaining classic games that are can be played for generations yet, because
Mhm.
it's part of Nintendo's game design is they really stick often to making stuff that can be enjoyed for a very long time.
Mhm.
They don't always do these things that rely on kind of the most current technology, and it's sort of
Mhm.
all of a sudden ages real fast.
Yep.
There's a lot of games on the PlayStation 1 you don't want anything to do with. They're not fun, especially if you don't have a nostalgic connection. But you can go
Yeah.
way back to the NES games and still have a blast with a lot of them. So, um, they've got a really good service of compiling here, and I was very excited to see Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games coming to that online service.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a
There's
big
there's
deal.
something there's something about like the style of these games that no matter what you do, it's nostalgic rather than like tragic. You know,
Mm,
when you see this like kind of retro throwback like game or like gaming style, it's never been reliant on technology. So when you play it, you don't look back and go, "Oh, sad, like that was the best technology you could do." It's literally just
right.
like this is a fun like rewind. Whereas like you're
Mhm.
saying like other games you play it and you're like, "Ouch, like this is really
Yeah.
impacting my enjoyment of this."
Yep. Like, a lot of people aren't gonna enjoy going back to the original Resident Evil 2 and playing that unless you had already and now you have a connection to it from your childhood or whatever.
Right.
But you can absolutely give a kid, something from the Super Nintendo, and they can have a blast with it, you know?
Mhm.
Um, Holds up. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I was very, very surprised about that. Glad it happened finally.
Mhm.
A lot of other fun things in here. I always wanted to try Splatoon. Maybe I'll get into that sometime. It was fun to see Samba de Amigo back.
Mhm.
Um, and then the big thing for me was Metroid Prime. Like, I've been
Yeah.
waiting for
Kinda
Metroid
figured.
Prime for a long time. We know 4 is a ways off yet and stuff, but people were like, "Are they gonna release the trilogy? Are they gonna not do anything to it? Are they just gonna port it to the Switch?" Like, all these questions. Well, they released just the first one, so it looks like they'll do them individually. You
Yep.
can, and it is a remaster. Like, it looks good. I've started it. It looks really good. It looks how your mind remembers it looking before. You know, it
Okay, yeah.
looks it looks how you remember it versus, like, if you actually went back and looked at it and be like, "Oh, yeah, that is a lot rougher and blurrier and all that stuff." So, yeah, it controls good, it feels good, it sounds good, and it's not full price. often Nintendo likes to do like, hey, this is an old game, but maybe it's going to be full price. It's like $40 or whatever. It's
Nice.
available digitally right now. So it's great. If you're, I don't know, it's a game that inspired many games to come, I think. And it's very well done. So you could have stopped there. You could have just had the direct and said Game Boy Advance games online, and Metroid Prime's out. We're good. We're good. But
That would have been John's show.
yeah, but we got to see that they're gonna have a Yoshi themed new track for the next
Mhm.
Mario Kart wave, which I'm excited about because some of the waves have been like there's not as many unique tracks. They're original ones. They're pulling it from the mobile game and from past games, which is fine. And I like that, but it's fun to have new ones as well.
Right,
So that'll be cool. Um, and then capping it off with Zelda, like just cherry on top,
right.
coming in May. They showed the special edition. It's like, I have to get that. So
Kinda figured.
yeah. Yeah, anything else stand out to you?
Yeah, there were a
I
couple of
rave about
games
those
that I
things,
was
but
yeah, I was excited about. Really thought Sea of Stars looked pretty cool. Like, that would be something I would play.
mm,
I loved, like, the music that they were working with, the composer. Just I think both of it fit together in, like, evoking a mood for the gameplay, but then also just, like, being really cool to just listen to as you went. So I was pleasantly, um, intrigued by Sea of Stars. Um, Obviously, I was really excited about, like I said, like OG Tetris, Mario, Zelda, Game Boy games. Like, just
mhm,
this is the way to promote your online service, Nintendo. Excellent. And obviously, Kirby is a part of that. Return to Dreamland Deluxe like looked a lot of fun. Where you play Megalore. I love a good like build your power kind of story, and obviously, you can't resist Kirby World
okay,
characters. So that looked really fun.
cool.
Um, Bayonetta Origins looked really fun, just because, like, you almost play, like, co-op with yourself, like, you have 2 different controllers
Right, yeah,
controlling your 2, like, different, so, yeah, so I just thought that was a fun concept and an interesting way to, like, tackle, Cereza's story of, you know, kind of taking it out of, like, Bayonetta world and doing, like, this pre-origin, so that one
okay,
looked
yep.
cool to me. Um, and then the other one, oh, that I mean, obviously was excited about Mario Kart and Zelda because classic. But the only like weird misstep I thought was like this random game called Omega Strikers, which is basically like
Mm,
that air hockey game that you play with like
yeah,
3 characters. And I was just sort of like, this is a really good like party game if everybody can take a character and it can just be this like wild frenetic energy. But if you're
sure.
playing like solo, I don't get how you would play this game because because air hockey is literally just like outpourings of frenetic energy. There's no like rhyme or reason. Like nobody plays air hockey for the strategy of it. It's literally just like you go to an arcade and just like shove the puck at each other and just like freak out. And, like, that's the kind of, like, frenetic energy I think of, like, that would be a really hilarious party game where everybody's just like, "Oh my god, hit the thing, do the thing," and, like, whatever. But, yeah, just, like, the thought about playing it solo is just sort of like, "Oh, that's a little sad."
Yeah, well, I'm sure we play it online, with someone else.
Yeah,
So, like,
hopefully with other
obviously, a lot
people.
more fun to play in person with someone as you can be yelling at them and whatever, But yeah, it could be fun. I think it was
Yeah.
free to play, right? Free to play online sort of thing, maybe.
Yes. Mhm.
So Renato's in the chat. Hey, thanks for jumping in, Renato. If you watched the Nintendo Direct, let us know what you were excited for there. If anything was appealing to you.
All
Um,
strategy here.
Yeah, he's
That
he's
is
all
not the way
strategy
I
with air
approach
hockey.
that is not the way I approach air hockey.
It's like the woman with the math going by the meme, and he's just like
Yes.
calculating all the angles, Every ricochet is just like, yeah, he sees it coming. That's
Whereas
Renato
my
and
my
air
brain is,
hockey.
like, playing, music from Amiga de Samba and
Yeah.
just like Samba de Amigo and just like ha ha ha. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
my strategy.
Um, so yeah, I like overall, I just think it was a really tight, good event. I
Mhm.
think that I can't ask more from a Nintendo event than this. I feel like there's a little bit of something for everyone. Like I say, really pulling back classics, kind of remaking them, new spins on them, plus with new things coming out as well.
Right.
Um, Nintendo just has it right. I hope they're not. I hope that the next generation that comes up is not a radical departure. I
Mhm.
guess my concern. I'm thinking there'll be a new Switch next spring or something like that. Um, I'm really counting on it being called the Super Nintendo Switch. I feel like that's a missed opportunity if it's not. And I hope that everything is compatible. It feels like
Yes.
it's just a more
Mhm.
powerful Switch. They have a platform they're building upon here, and I really hope they don't fumble it. Like now is not the time for Nintendo to get weird, you know?
Or
Like get
to
weird
start
about your
limiting
games.
access.
Yes,
Mhm.
you need to, I know they had their day, kind of like Disney had their day of like, we'll take this out of the vault and we'll put it back in. We'll take this out of the
Mhm.
vault. We'll put it back in. And every few years, you'll get a different version on the same format. And then every few more years, you have to buy it again on, DVD and then Blu-ray and then
Right.
4K Blu-ray, whatever, like, but we're past, we need to be past that. And
Mhm.
Nintendo, I hope realizes we're past that. You have to build yourself a platform that can go with you into the future so people can
Mhm.
carry their game libraries with them. And if they don't do that, I y- the Nintendo love can only go so far. I feel like at
Mhm.
some point, like they'll be like, you everyone else is doing this, you can't not do this.
Mhm.
So I don't want to
Yeah,
bring it
are you
down. It was a good event,
No, no,
but
no, no, no. I think the only other criticism light criticism I would have had or concern I would have had is they do clearly have levels to their online service. Um, I don't remember. It was like the service and then like some sort of like exclusive something. I just caught it like
it's like
briefly.
online and then online plus expansion pass, I believe is what it's called.
Expansion pass. Thank you. Thank you. So I was already concerned, like, you have two different levels. Like, this is enough limitation. Like you said, don't start limiting like game access, like version access, like let people bring over what their gaming libraries are because yeah, when you're just building a base, you can't start out with already like six different roadblocks. It's like the
Mhm.
way that HBO Max started so sloppily, where we were like, HBO Go,
Yeah.
HBO Max, like, what do you have? What is different? Like, don't
Yep.
make these mistakes.
Yep. I think that it makes sense. I don't think they need to go more than 3 tiers. 2 is good right now. I'm fine with
Mm-hmm.
that, but I think they could manage a third if they want. So you get tier 1 that gives you, I'm not looking this up, I just from memory or wherever I believe it is. So first tier gives you your cloud saves. So
Mm-hmm.
you buy your games, you play them, whether they're cartridge based or digital, and your saves get saved to your account, tied to your Nintendo account. That wherever you go on any new Switch or whatever, it shows these are the games you've played, and here's your save data.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gives you access to a retro catalog of
Mm-hmm.
games. So as long as you're connected to online, you can go and you can access games from what's now the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, which is fun, Nintendo 64, Game Boy, and Game Boy Advance. I feel like they could next slot in another tier if they want. If they want to do GameCube games and
Mm-hmm.
Wii games and like Wii U games or something like that, or, like say, hey, these are a little more modern ones, take a little more oomph. They got one more tier in there. Otherwise, keep compiling on the first one. And then
Mm-hmm.
the second tier gives you all that plus all the DLC that comes with a lot of other things. So
Yep.
like all the new Mario Kart waves, I just get automatically because I have the expansion pass one, and so I'm just going to automatically get those. And I think it's great. Great value, simple. It's not expensive. They have room to increase the price. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I'd be interested to see, like, who would be interested in that, like, second tier involving, like, Wii and Wii U, because I feel like that was
GameCube.
well, I mean, GameCube too. I'm sort of
Yeah.
taking GameCube out of the equation just in my brain because Wii and Wii U was just such, like, an odd blip in the gaming world. It was so hot and then so cold,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
So it sort of boggles my mind sometimes, like, how quick that came on and how quick everybody was, like, just absolutely gaga, and, like, Wii was the thing, and then it
Hmm.
really, really wasn't.
Yep. And it puts them in a tough situation because they should be able to see now where that sort of odd innovation helps them.
Mhm.
But now going forward, a lot of those games are difficult to translate because they're motion based. And
Exactly.
so they're relying on an odd control scheme that games have to sometimes be retooled to work on traditional controls.
Mhm.
And so that, yeah, foresee that being a problem for them going forward. Alan brings up that a lot of Wii U games are already being sold as Switch games. That's 100% true. I mean, Mario Kart was a Wii U
Yeah.
game, like absolutely. Um, which makes sense. The Wii U was such a utter failure that needed to happen. So yeah, you couldn't just throw out all the work you did in Mario Kart
No,
because so
just because the Wii U is a failure, yeah, I get it.
yeah. Um okay. I mean, that's about it. I'm really excited. There's too many games to play right now. Hi-Fi
Mhm.
Rush, Dead Space, Hogwarts Legacy, Metroid Prime, all the old classic Game Boy games I have access to now.
Yeah,
And
I was
then
really,
soon Zelda.
pleasant I was pleasantly surprised by how much, was available same day,
Mhm.
or
Like a
shortly after the
demo available
presentation.
anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it wasn't full content, it was at least like, "Go check this out," like, have a little teaser, whet your appetite over here, and, you know, and I think it's smart because, like you said, this one was focused on things that are coming out in the first half of this year. You're not dropping a teaser on people and expecting them to remember it for another year. You're expecting them to get excited for something that's coming in, like, a month or 2.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
it's really smart to just be that timely.
Yep. Yep. All right. That's the big Nintendo Direct from this past week. Everybody that has a
Thumbs up.
Nintendo Switch, yeah, get out there and play some Nintendo games. If you don't have a Nintendo Switch, go ahead and get one, before they come out with a new version. Get some good timing in there yet. So, otherwise, that'll do it from us. This has been Popcast on the Rocks, episode 134. Make sure that you go again and check out MJ Honeybee. That's capital MJH Honey B, capital B on that, like a bumblebee. She's on Twitch. Go ahead and go check her out. I think if you're happening to be watching this live right now, she is live currently playing Hogwarts Legacy. So go and do that. Killing the Flower, they wrote a theme song. You should check them out on Instagram and music streaming services like Apple and Spotify and YouTube. So go ahead and take a look at them, please. And we'll be back soon. We'll be back soon again. We got some more crazy news to talk about. And please subscribe, share, follow, and all the places so you know where we are next and what's going on here. So, Andrea, thanks again for joining me.
Of course. As always, cheers, everybody.